kí wọ́n wá fún wa ní àdúrà ní ìlànà ti.
sọ̀rọ̀ bí gẹ̀rẹ́ adúpẹ́ ní ọ̀la ọlọ́dí kálẹ̀ yọrẹ́ ọ̀la alhamdulillah gbogbo ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tí ẹnì kọ̀ọ̀kan wa náà bá sọ.
a máa pe kábíyèsí olú of Saga.
àti tẹ̀ ọbẹ̀ ẹ̀wọ̀ lọ́rùn gbogbo àwọn tó wá síbí ìkọsẹ̀ bí ó mọ̀ ṣe dé báyìí ẹ̀fílẹ̀ sílẹ̀ àtàlàáfẹ̀ kẹ́ padà sílẹ̀ àtàlà.
Dr. Ayọ̀ọ́lá Adébísí Rájí.
ìbá kọ́dá ìbá ṣẹ̀dá o ìbá yèyé ìbá bàbọ̀ ikú ò ní rẹ́ wa lọ́kàn lọ o ní agbára Olódùmarè ẹ̀mí wa ó gùn pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run á pẹ̀lú ìrètí àwọn bàbá wa o tẹ̀ yóò jà síre Olódùmarè ó fàṣẹ sí o tó.
ló bá wọn ọlẹ́ àṣẹ o chairman local organizing committee gbogbo wa láti.
kábàámọ̀ wíwá tó wá sáàrin wa mo kí bàbá sẹ́nétọ̀ nígbà tí àwọn ń ṣe sẹ́nétọ̀ láti ń gbúrò wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ kétékété torí wọn la ṣe mú ìpàdé yìí wá sí òkè ń bí tó máa fún yín ṣeun ẹ káàbọ̀ òkú rìn tó bá ń padà lọ sí Amẹ́ríkà àwọn tó ń fẹ́ kó USS lọ́dì dání wọ́n wà ó so kó lọ ṣètò. mo kí bàbá Allah ẹ káàbọ̀ Ọlọ́run máa fún yín ṣeun ẹgbẹ́ máa gbòòrò sí lásìkò tí yín ni lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí mo kí pé Ọlọ́run tí ó mọ ohun gbogbo òun náà ló ń ṣe ohun gbogbo ó mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ jẹ́ kí àsìkò ààwẹ̀ ti mùsùlùmí àti ti kìrìsìtẹ́nì ó mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ jẹ́ kó papọ̀ toró fẹ́ kí gbogbo wa ká kún fún àdúrà sí òun torí kò sí nǹkan tí ò lè ṣe fún orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà fún gbogbo ìlú kọ̀ọ̀kan tí gbogbo wa ti wá gbogbo ìṣòro tí ó wà ká tẹ́wọ́ ẹ̀ sí Ọlọ́run ọba á sì dá wa lóhùn ẹ jẹ́ kí a fi àsìkò yìí ká fi kún fún àdúrà yẹn á gbà o láti kó gbogbo ẹ̀ ní ẹsẹ̀ lẹ́wọ́ ní eégún ńlá onígbẹ̀yìn gbalẹ̀ bàbá tó jókòó tímọ́tímọ́ lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ mi Professor.
lápapọ̀ fún network of kings from rural countryside Osun State Allah of Ìlá-Ìjẹ̀ṣà kábíyèsí wọn.
mo nígbàgbọ́ pé nígbà tá a bá lọ sí ilé wa a mú ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àǹfààní tí ó ràn wá lọ́wọ́ láti ṣe àkóso nílùú wa a mú lọ sí ilé. ẹgbẹ́ yìí a ti dá sílẹ̀ ní ọdún 8 sẹ́yìn ọdún 8 network of kings. a wò wípé àwọn kan wà ní council àwọn ọba kan wà tí ó sì ní council. àwa wò pé kí ni ẹgbẹ́ tí ò sí ní council yìí kí ni àwọn náà ṣe máa fi kò lóko pẹ̀lú ìjọba láti ran ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun lọ́wọ́ láti máa rí èrè ìjọba jẹ kó má jẹ́ council member nìkan ló ń gbádùn ìjọba. a sì nígbàgbọ́ pé ẹsẹ̀ kòkó ní ìbò pọ̀ sí jù ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun tí ìdàgbàsókè bá dẹ̀ máa wá ìgboro náà ṣe sí wọn gbàgbé ẹsẹ̀ kòkó nǹkan tó fa ìdí tá a fi dá ẹgbẹ́ yìí sílẹ̀ lọ́dún 8 sẹ́yìn. A wá rí pé ẹkùn senatorial 3 la ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun. A wá rí pé ó cut across the 3 senatorial. Gbogbo senatorial kọ̀ọ̀kan ló péjú síbi. Bàbá Ọọ̀ni Ọ̀jájá ti Ilẹ̀ Ifẹ̀, àwọn ni grand patron wa, ẹ bá wa fún wọn látẹ́wọ́. Wọ́n ti gbà wá lálejò bí ẹ̀ẹ̀mejì bí ẹ̀ẹ̀mẹ́ta. Tìmẹ́ẹ́dẹ́ Lámínísà the second, àwọn ni grand champion wa. Àwọn náà ti gbà wá lálejò láìmọye ìgbà. Èrèdí ìpàdé tí èní kí n tó mẹ́nu yà síbẹ̀, nígbàtí ẹgbẹ́ yìí ó wáyé, ẹnìkan jókòó sí kọ̀ọ̀kan yàrá ẹ̀, ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ro lọ sọ́tún, ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ro lọ sósì. Bóyá torí kó jẹ́ ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n ni, Ọlọ́run ló mọ iye wákàtí tó fi sùn nínú 24 hours. Ẹ̀bùrú ti bà, òun ló jókòó sí kọ̀ọ̀kan yàrá tó rù pé kiri. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ pé kábíyèsí o. Ẹgbẹ́ ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ bí èèyàn 4, èèyàn 4, èèyàn 6 ló bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí pọ̀ sí. Lẹ́yìn, we are 200 members. We are 200 members. I register gẹ́gẹ́ bí non-governmental organization, NGO. Àwa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí súnmọ́ ìjọba, a bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí súnmọ́ ìjọba. Ìjọba wa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí wò pé àwọn ará yóò ṣe é dànù, wọ́n ṣe é dànù. Ìjọba bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí pé wá, tí ìjọba bá ní ayẹyẹ, tó bá ní nǹkan ṣe ní governor's office, tó bá pe council 10, wọ́n pe àwa nẹ́tíwọ́ọ̀kì 5, tó bá pe council 30, wọ́n pe àwa bí 15, tó bá bá àwọn àkókò gàgàrà lówó, wọ́n fà wà àkókò kékeré náà ní wà lówó. Ìjọba àná àbáwọn ṣe láti gbà yí Arẹ́gbẹ́ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀, àbá Arẹ́gbẹ́ ṣe, àgbádùn Arẹ́gbẹ́, àbá Oyètọ́lá ṣe, àgbádùn Oyètọ́lá. Àtúnbà Adélékè ṣe lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́, à ń gbádùn ẹ̀ bí oyin ni o. Ẹ̀yin ọba tó wà níkàlẹ̀, ìpàdé mi, ìpàdé tí ó tú wa ṣe ni. A mọ̀ pé ẹ̀yin ló ní àṣà àti ìṣe, gbogbo agbára ló wà lọ́wọ́ yín, gbogbo ọgbọ́n ìbílẹ̀ ló wà lọ́wọ́ yín, gbogbo ọgbọ́n àkóso ló wà lọ́wọ́ yín. Ṣùgbọ́n kò sẹ́ni tó mọ̀ tó Ọlọ́run, kò sẹ́ni tó mọ̀ tó Ọlọ́run. Ìpéjọpọ̀ yìí a fẹ́ kó mú àyípadà wá. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àbùkù ló ti ń ta ẹ̀rẹ̀ báwọn ọba láàrin ìgboro. Ẹ bá ọba mìíràn níbi tí ó yẹ kẹ́ ti bá, yóò bọ́ sọ sílẹ̀, yóò máa mú bíà. Ẹ bọ́ba mìíràn níbi tí ó yẹ kẹ́ ti bá, yóò fẹsẹ̀ máa rìn lọ, yóò máa dá ọ̀kadà dúró lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ títí ẹni àpọ́nlé ẹni yìí ẹni ẹ̀yẹ. Ọba mi ò kú ọ̀kadà, agbádá yà á lọ mọ́ spoke machine. Èrèdí ìpàdé yìí níyì ká lè mọ̀ tó tọ́ àtòun tí ó tọ́. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn àsáwọ̀ ló ti wà láàrin ọba. ọba mìíràn ò nílùú, ọba mìíràn ò nílùú, àpèrè àwọn ní ẹlòmíà sọ pé ọba of Ireland, ọba of Swaziland, ọba of Belgium, ọba mìíràn ní òun ọba bẹ́ẹ̀gì. Ìrèdí tí ìpàdé yìí fi wáyé lẹ́yìn ní ká mọ ohun tó tọ́ àti ohun tí ó ṣe kẹ́nẹ́, ohun tí ó tọ́.
pé àfẹ́gbára lásìkò ọ̀rọ̀ tiwa di pé ká fi àwọn nǹkan kan ká fi orí ọ̀fẹ́ pé geographical bí ilẹ̀ ṣe rí ó pa wọ́n pọ̀ àwọn náà wọ́n ti ní bọ́n ṣe ti kóra wọn jọ pé a máa lọ bẹ̀ so Ifẹ̀ òun la ṣe pè ní first assembly of the network Ifẹ̀ ni a ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ irú rẹ̀ torí annual general meeting tó kọjá láti sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn so ibi níbi àkọ́kọ́ tá a wá pé kí ló ṣe tó jẹ́ pé bí a dẹ̀ ṣe ń ṣe bá ṣe pé torí ìjọba ni wá gbogbo ìjọba wà bẹ́ẹ̀ láti máa kún lọ́wọ́ ètò ọba ṣe dáadáa ká máa bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ ni àwa lè jẹ́ pé àwa ni a máa jẹ́ tí à ń bíríìjì ìjọba kan sí èkejì tó rà wá bẹ́ẹ̀ tí wọ́n bá ìdọ̀dá sí wọ́n ń ṣe ọ̀nà lọ́wọ́ ọ̀nà yẹn o ẹni yẹn ò parí ẹ o tí ẹ̀mí bá dé àwa náà lásán pé ẹ máa bọ̀ ẹ wá máa ṣe lọ torí àǹfààní gbogbo kò sí ìlú tó bá ṣe ọ̀nà wá ní kí n dáadáa àwa tá à ń lọ bẹ̀ á jẹ mo máa ń sọ̀rọ̀ excellency ìgbà tí wọ́n wà gọ́vnọ̀ wọ́n ṣe ọ̀nà ìlú tiwọn sí ìlú ti tèmi tó ra tira wa ni mi mọ̀ pé bóyá lọ́dún kan sìn bóyá excellency ti rin ọ̀nà yẹn ṣé àwọn ni wọ́n gbádùn rẹ̀ àbí àwa bí àwọn èèyàn wa bá ṣe wá sí ọ̀dọ̀ wa tó rọ́nà kan tó dáa tó wọ ìlú mi nìyẹn ní ìsìn báyìí àwọn tó máa ń wá sọ́dọ̀ wa dáadáa tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ jáde ọ̀nà yẹn ni wọ́n tọ̀ so ará Ifẹ̀ ó ń gbádùn ọ̀nà tí wọ́n ṣe sí Ìbà àwọn nǹkan wọ̀nyí gbogbo ọ̀nà tó ń ṣe lóṣogbo lóòótọ́ Òṣogbo ni kò ṣe pé ibì kan ló wà pé bóyá ìlú tiwa gangan ṣùgbọ́n àǹfààní tó tí a bá jẹ́ pé àwa ni à jẹ́ kí ìjọba kó máa lọ ní ọwọ́ yẹn so àwọn nǹkan wọ̀nyí nìkan tí a máa gbọ́ ní èní a kí gbogbo wa káàbọ̀ àníṣaláì dúpẹ́ púpọ̀ mo kí prof o signature wọn pọ̀ lórí oríṣiríṣi àwọn òwe tí tá a bá nínú rẹ́kọ̀dù àwọn bàbá wa.
The limited roles Obas play in the governance of our society is therefore a convenient compromise that has helped in preserving that enviable institution. We increasingly read in the media, particularly in the social media, some Obas being found dirty. An Oba must be very careful and protective of his name. Wọ́n ní fi àjọba à ń wúre ṣé a fẹ́ di Olódùmarè ni. And I suspect that the realization of these challenges and the need for charting a sustainable way forward informed the convocation of this conference. So, what is the way forward? Without preempting what this conference will come up with, I want to suggest that we all work hard so as to have the Constitution amended to officially recognize Oba's roles. Even if advisory in governance. I also suggest strongly that this conference looks at the Obaship recruitment process and tinker with it to avoid the enthronement of undesirable characters. This is very key because the kind of Obas we have determines the respect Yoruba land commands outside Yoruba land. Ẹ̀yin bàbá wa ní ìrínisí ní ìsọnilọ́jọ̀. If you walk and act dirty, you'll be addressed and treated dirty. We must consciously fill vacant thrones with persons of impeccable character. We must nurture a generation of Obas who will serve as the conscience of the people, serve as advocates of good policies, and promoters of justice, equity, and development. That's what we need in today's Nigeria. We all know that Alojule Otun kò fojú re wo ni. Ìmọ̀ràn àkà ni tòsí ń gbà. Kálé ni jáde ni tọ̀kan lé. That is the reality of Nigerian Federation. If we must survive, we need the right persons in power, especially on the thrones of our forefathers. It is also important to know that in today's digital age, we must have Obas to whom modernity and change are not sins. Persons to whom technology is a tool for societal development. We do not have to be told that the growth and progress of Yoruba land is tied to how its traditional institution is run. Cooperation with our various palaces is key. We should remember that àgbájọwọ́ la fi ń sọ̀yà, àjèjì ọwọ́ kan gbẹ́rù lórí. Wherever there is unity, progress, growth in real terms, and development will thrive there. Besides, the Obas themselves must be united. Bickering and petty rivalry are supposed to be the pastime of lesser beings. They are not supposed to be a feature of our royalty. Your Royal Highnesses, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I urge us all to take this conference seriously. Given the pedigree of the respectable individuals behind it, I have no hesitation in asserting that far-reaching implementable decisions and suggestions will come out of here. I thank and congratulate the organizers of this for this opportunity to speak here. I wish all participants very happy and fruitful deliberations. I thank you for listening.
Gbogbo àwọn kábíyèsí tó wà ní ìkàlẹ̀, kábíyèsí chairman ẹgbẹ́ yìí, kábíyèsí ẹ̀bùrù, alága tẹ́lẹ̀, Professor Peloye, Professor Fashiku. Quality of leadership. Ẹ̀bùrù nuru ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀, ẹ̀bùrù kọ́ lálága mọ́sí, kábíyèsí Allah of Ìlá Ìjẹ̀ṣà. Succession procedure ó wà, ètò wà, ibi tí ètò bá ti wà, ìdàgbàsókè máa ń débẹ̀. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Olúwa pé àjọ yìí tí a bá múra sí dáadáa, á jẹ́ kí àwọn ẹ̀yà yòókù kan tún bẹ̀rù àwa Yorùbá dáadáa. Kì í ṣe pé ká kàn fi ẹnu yaran sí ọbẹ̀, ṣùgbọ́n ká ṣiṣẹ́ tọ̀ nǹkan tí à ń sọ. Kábíyèsí bàbá wa ò sí bí, kábíyèsí Ọọ̀ni ò sí bí. Olórí aládé gbogbo àwọn kábíyèsí tó wà ń bí, àwọn kábíyèsí tẹ́ ẹ sọ pé báwo ni tiwọn, bọ̀dẹ̀ wá ń sọ pé níbo nílẹ̀ Yorùbá àwa náà lágbára o. Ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun lẹ́ni, mo mọ̀ pé Gọ́vnà Ìlọ́lá sọ fáwọn tó ń ṣe òṣèlú pé àwọn network of the obas tẹ́ ẹ bá fi tí wọ́n ṣe ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun ẹ lè jábọ́ o. This is because of the commitment and strength of membership and leadership. But àwa dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run pé a máa ń sọ pé ọba tó bá fẹ́ làmìlaka kò gbúdọ̀ máa gbégbá òṣèlú. Gbogbo wọn ni ọmọ wa. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́? Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. Ṣùgbọ́n ẹni tó bá ṣe dáadáa sí wa, ẹlẹ́ran ara ni wá, ó di dandan náà káwa náà ṣe kíni o, ká ṣe dáadáa sí wọn. This is a well-fortified organization. I commend you. I thank you. Àwọn èèyàn sọ pé ọba kan ṣe kinní kan lórí social media. Wọ́n bú gbogbo àwọn ọba, wọ́n bú wa lọ. Má ní wọn lè má bú wa, ẹrú kan ló mú ní búgba ẹrú. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́? Àwa kan la jókòó síbí yìí. Àwọn tí ó máa jẹ́ kán bú wa, wọ́n wà ń kọ̀rọ̀ kan, wọ́n ọ̀dẹ̀ pọ̀, àbí wọ́n pọ̀? Wọ́n pọ̀. But here we are to let the whole world know that we must be well organized, we must be well fortified like mo fẹ́ ní kábíyèsí Ọlágúnsóyè Oyèlọ́lá, kábíyèsí náà làwọn náà. Ọmọọba ni wọ́n. This is an institution that I never liked before I became the Ọ̀ràngún in Okela. I didn't like the institution. Fẹ́mi Odúduwà mọ̀ pé because tendency kan náà ni gbogbo wa. I never liked the institution, and with due respect, I did all my degrees here in Ife. So with due respect, in terms of exposure, aluta, you know, ó wá di pé Ọlọ́run wá sọ pé mi ní jókòó s'Abuja mọ́, pé ìlú òkè ìlà Ọ̀ràngún ni màá lọ, ni màá jókòó sí. And I say that courtesy of the governor of the state there. Almost 20 years ago, Governor Ilola, bóyá wọn kàn mọ̀ pé ó ti tó 20 years táwọn ti wà níjọba. I'm going to be 20 years next year. Just like play. Mo wá rí pé ọba, mo wá máa ń dúpẹ́ ní gbogbo ìgbà pé Olúwa, mo dúpẹ́ pé ẹ tẹ ìdí mi sí ìlú òkè ìlà Ọ̀ràngún. Mo tún wá dúpẹ́ pé mo wá jẹ́ ọba aládé ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá iṣẹ́ ọba pọ̀ gan-an ẹni tí ó bá fẹ́ fi tó bá sọ pé òun fẹ́ máa fẹ́ láni òun fẹ́ kọ́ ipò ọba tí mo wà ní máa fi kọ́lé 10 kò ní nǹkan kan ṣe o pé ipò ọba yìí ni màá ti ní gbogbo nǹkan tí màá ní láyé kò ní nǹkan kan ṣe o. This is a position of service and I say it, I'd always been working but I've never worked like this in my life. I've never. A monarch, you are in the midst of poverty. You live in the midst of poverty. You see poverty all around you. O wa ń fẹlá, o ń ṣe pé obìnrin láyé dán ni ẹ obìnrin yẹn bá mi gbẹ́sẹ̀ lé wọ́n ní gbẹ́sẹ̀ kúrò ńbẹ̀ kábíyèsí. Ayé àtijọ́ ni ẹ. And back to that principle, Excellency sọ pé monarchy in a democracy is an aberration. It's an aberration. But mo máa ń sọ fún àwọn èèyàn pé ṣùgbọ́n ìfẹ́ tí àwọn èèyàn wá ní sí ọba ni ó jẹ́ ká wà. Ìfẹ́ yẹn pọ̀ gan. Fẹ́mi ọ̀rẹ́ mi tó bá rí mi bó ṣe rí mi ó ti dọ̀bálẹ̀ fún mi. Bàbá wa tó fi wá jọba gangan ọmọba tó bá rí wa á dọ̀bálẹ̀ fún wa. Ẹ fẹ́ dọ̀lọ́run ni. No, ogunlọ́gọ̀ wa fẹ́ dọ̀lọ́run. Ẹ fẹ́ dọ̀lọ́run ni. Kò ṣeé ṣe. Ipò tí Olúwa fẹ́ ká wà ní àwa yìí. A dẹ̀ láti ṣe fún àwọn ìran tó ń bọ̀. Ọ̀rọ̀ pọ̀ nínú ìwé kọ́bọ̀. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká gbàgbé pé aláṣẹ ìkejì òrìṣà tí ó wà ní ìsìn ó ní 1999 constitution as amended. 1999 constitution as amended. Ó bọ́ sílẹ̀ onílẹ̀ olọ́ba ló nílẹ̀ ó ń tanra ẹni o. Ó dọ́mọ kékeré nílùú ẹ oníkan bá pè wá kó gbẹ́sẹ̀ lé ó ń tanra ẹni o. Orí nǹkan mi tí ò kí ń ṣe tiẹ̀ iye o gbọ́wọ́ sí pé ọba aládé ni ó ń ṣe kí ni o ń tanra ẹni o. It's unimaginable that wọ́n ní kí kọfí wà ní Ọ̀yọ́ àwọn kan challenge Aláàfin wọ́n máa challenge wa. They're going to challenge us if things are not done procedurally. Ṣùgbọ́n àwọn èèyàn wá ní ìbẹ̀rù àwa ọba. All my children all over the world, I'm saying all my children all over the world, they defer to me. Aroikeye Ọ̀ràngún ti Òkèlá Ọ̀ràngún. I am next to God in Òkèlá Ọ̀ràngún. And it's because I carry the institution. Mi máa múlẹ̀ onílẹ̀ mọ́tèmí. Rárá o. Èló tí ẹnu wá ń tẹ̀lẹ̀ lókè, èló náà ń tẹ̀lẹ̀ lókè là. Èló tí máa gbé sẹ́lẹ̀ lólẹ̀, God forbid. We're here to develop our people. And respect begets respect. Àwọn kan rí mi wọ́n ní mo sọ pé kábíyèsí Ọ̀ọ̀ni, wọ́n ní ẹnìkan sọ pé ọ̀rẹ́ mi ni wọ́n ní kábíyèsí ọ̀rẹ́ mi kẹ̀, wọ́n ní kábíyèsí ọ̀rẹ́ mi kọ́ ni ọ̀rẹ́ mi ká ní kábíyèsí Ọ̀ọ̀ni o. Kábíyèsí Ọ̀ọ̀ni ò lè jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi. Kábíyèsí ọ̀rẹ́ mi is my father. It's my father. You have to respect those people, monarchs to be respected. If Kábíyèsí the Ọ̀ràngún of life, you should come in here now. My pause. Kábíyèsí Ajoko. I defer to him. I tell people he's my leader. But our relationship is like the relationship of Ephraim and Manasseh. One is Manasseh, one is Ephraim. Nínú Manasseh àti Ephraim ta ló dàgbà jù? Ephraim ni ọ̀gá Manasseh. tí Manasseh bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sọ pé mi ni Manasseh, ó kàn tán rẹ̀ ni. Kò síjọba tó máa support Manasseh at the expense of Ephraim. Ìbò mélòó ló máa wá látọ̀dọ̀ Manasseh? Oúnjẹ mélòó ló máa wá látọ̀dọ̀ Manasseh? Ṣùgbọ́n látọ̀dọ̀ Ephraim, Ìbò. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ ní rẹpẹtẹ. Let us use our wisdom. Let us give honor to whom honor is due. And from what I've seen today, I know that with further management, this network of kings will be a formidable group in the monarchy system in Nigeria, not only in Yoruba land. Wọ́n ní ìrẹ́jẹ ló máa ń ba ẹgbẹ́ jẹ́. Ẹ má kó owó ẹgbẹ́ ẹ̀yin ọ̀gá wa. Ẹ má fọwọ́ kan owó ẹgbẹ́ o. Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ máa ṣe kí ni o? Ọlọ́run máa bùkún yín. The Lord will bless you. I'm so proud of you. May the good Lord continue to expand this formidable group of great monarchs in Yoruba land. Thank you.
Breaking, not only in his creativity, but also in his potential to safeguard the very institution you represent. If pursued with commitment, with vigor, it could be the key to preserving the relevance and authority of traditional leadership in Nigeria. Do not, mo fẹ́ repeat yẹn, ẹ má rò pé kò possible lọ́jọ́ kan kí wèrè kan dé kó lóun council institution yìí lọ́jọ́ iwájú. Ẹ má rò bẹ́ẹ̀ o, ẹ má rò bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Ìdí pàtàkì tẹ́ fi wà mílíọ̀nù nìyẹn. Iṣẹ́ dẹ̀ wà lọ́wọ́ yín, iṣẹ́ ńlá gidi. Tẹ́ ẹ bá fẹ́ kó ṣẹlẹ̀, ó lè ṣẹlẹ̀ o. A ti rí àpẹẹrẹ níbi tó ti ṣẹlẹ̀ rí o. Tó yẹ kó wọ́n lágbára jù yín lọ. Wèrè dẹ̀ débẹ̀. By a stroke of pen, ó dẹ̀ ní kò sí kan tó gbúdọ̀ tó jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́. That is why I consider it important for us to stand here today and discuss this matter. Our fathers, you deserve commendation for coming together to address matters of concern in your domains. But let this effort not be restricted to Osun State alone. Spread the word. Recommend this initiative to your colleagues in other Yoruba states, and if possible, across the country. Ours is a nation in crisis. We must speak plainly and truthfully. Nigeria is in crisis. Only those who are chosen to be deaf and blind to reality will argue otherwise. The patience of Nigerians is being tested like never before, and many are reaching their breaking point. If things continue to deteriorate, the consequences could be dire. Should unrest erupt in this country, God forbid, those who wield authority, whether political or traditional, will inevitably become targets of public frustration. Your Majesties, because you are the closest to the people, you may be the first to bear the brunt of the anger of the people. Ẹ̀yin lẹ wà ńlé o, bó wù mí mo lè má lọ sí Adó Èkìtì tó bí mi fóṣù mẹ́fà kí lọ jókòó sí London àbí sí America. Ẹ lè gbé ọ̀sẹ̀ méjì kan má lọ lé o. Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kó sí ìtàkùn ayé o. Ẹ̀yin lẹ wà ńlé o. Ẹ̀yin lẹ ń jí pẹ̀lú àwọn èèyàn yín, ẹ̀yin lẹ ń sùn pẹ̀lú wọn. Ẹ̀yin lẹ mọ oko tó ń lọ, ẹ̀yin lẹ mọ ẹni tó jẹun lálẹ́ àná àtẹni tó jí láàárọ̀ tí ó sì tó jẹ níkùn ẹ̀. Iṣẹ́ ìlú ìyọrùn yín ló wà o. Àwọn tó dẹ̀ wá ń jọba mọ̀ pé ẹ̀yin lẹ ń gbẹ́rù ìlú, ṣùgbọ́n ẹ̀yin lẹ ń gbé o. Kábíyèsí, we must speak plainly. Nigeria is in crisis. Only those who are chosen to be deaf and blind to reality will argue otherwise. The patience of Nigerians is being tested like never before. Your Majesties, because you are the closest to the people, you may be the first to bear the brunt of their anger. Recently, a former colleague of mine in the Senate called to check on me. He said, "Distinguished, I hope you are doing fine and always carrying your passport wherever you go." I asked him why, and he responded, "This country, with the way things are going, is getting to a boiling point. If trouble comes, anyone who has ever held power or benefited from the system will be in danger. Is what struck me. The politicians, ever the corny foxes, are already contemplating their escape from disaster they have caused. Some are spending huge sums of dollars to buy citizenship of other nations for themselves and their families, a safe haven for them and their loots, should there be an uprising in our country. Meanwhile, traditional rulers, bound by duty and history, remain in their palaces, basking in the dignity of their offices. But dignity alone will not be enough when the people rise in anger. Lessons from history. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ o, kẹ́tù mo sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan pé lesson wà ní history fún yín o, láti ẹ̀kọ́ wà ní history láti pé kẹ́kọ̀ọ́. History has shown that when traditional institutions neglect their duty to the people, they risk being swept away in moments of upheaval. Two of the most striking examples come from France and Russia, where centuries-old monarchies collapsed under the weight of their own detachment. I'm not sure today there is, a monarchy that could be as powerful as that of France and Russia as they were then. In the 18th century, France, the monarchy lived in extravagance, while the people suffered under crushing taxes, food shortages, and economic hardship. King Louis XVI and his court at Versailles ignored the growing discontent. When the burden became unbearable, the people revolted in 1789. The monarchy was overthrown, and both the king and queen, Marie Antoinette, were executed. In early 20th century Russia, Tsar Nicholas II ruled with absolute power, while his people endured poverty, war, and repression. He ignored repeated calls for reform. By 1917, mass discontent exploded into the Russian Revolution, toppling the Romanov dynasty. The Tsar and his entire family were executed, and the monarchy was erased from history, completely obliterated from the history of Russia. You can see what mad people could do to a noble institution if that institution is not, nobly applied to the needs of the people. In both cases, the rulers did not merely lose their thrones, they became symbols of oppression. Despised by the very people they once ruled, the lesson is clear. When leaders fail to address the sovereignty of their people, the people eventually turn against them. A brewing storm in Nigeria. Your Majesties, Nigeria is dangerously close to such a moment. The signs of growing discontent are everywhere, and I'll point them out. Runaway inflation, the prices of essential goods, food, fuel, medicine are skyrocketing beyond the reach of ordinary citizens, while wages remain stagnant. And I will explain this with an example. About 2 months ago, I went to a chemist in Ado-Ekiti to buy drugs for malaria. And entering that medicine store, I saw an elderly man coming out of that place crying. And I reached out to him, Baba, kí ló dé? Ó lóun ní diabetes, ó ní high blood pressure. 25,000 naira lówó oògùn lóṣù. Ó wá débílẹ̀ ní wọ́n tó ti dá 78,000 naira. Ó ní òun ò lówó tóun lè fi rà á, ṣé òun padà sí láti lọ kú nìyẹn. Mo wá ní bàbá, ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sínú bẹ̀. Mo wá ní kán kó oògùn yẹn fún, mo san balance owó yẹn. Ó wá dọ̀bálẹ̀, kò tiẹ̀ wá lè dìde mọ́, àtúwá ń gbé dìde ní. Nígbà tó wá dìde tán, ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ rà fún mi léde báyìí. Ṣé tún máa rà fún mi lọ́sùn lójú tó ń bọ̀ ni? Ó ní ìgbà wo ni kò ní dé? I got back home, I reflected on that, and I cried that this should not be the lot of our elderly people. It should not even be the lot of any Nigerian. Today, there are mass unemployment. People come to me, they've been out of school for 5, 7, 10 years. They've not been able to get employment. 4, 5 children of the same family. Their parents struggle to train them in school. None of them are employed today. And the same parents are still looking for money for them to buy bread for breakfast in the morning. So youth unemployment is at a catastrophic level, with millions of young people left idle and hopeless. Worsening poverty. A staggering number of Nigerians now live below the poverty line, struggling daily to afford even basic necessities. Then the issue that concerns all of you, rising insecurities, kidnappings, banditry, communal conflicts are on the rise as economic hardship drives people to desperate measures. Again, examples from where I come from. You almost have had some months ago when 3 of us coming from a meeting were attacked by kidnappers and 2 of them killed instantly. So the crime is coming home to everybody, not just the poor, even the crown can no longer be excused from this. Collapse of trust in leadership. Many feel abandoned by the political elite, leading to growing disillusionment, agitation, and in some cases calls for drastic action. When economic hardship and social frustration reach a tipping point, revolutions happen. Nigeria is not immune. If people feel they have no future, no opportunities, and no leadership to turn to, they will eventually take matters into their own hands. That's why our father said, "Alakoti kan, okin so pe kile ma jo." If you have no stake in the system, then let the system collapse. But if I have a job, I have a house, I have a family, and things are going well for me, I would not want things to collapse. But if I have nothing, let it collapse. Will be the slogan that I will have. With unpredictable and possibly, yes, I'm saying that no leadership to turn to, they will eventually take matters into their own hands with unpredictable and possibly catastrophic consequences. Are more than custodians of tradition, though. Ẹ ti kọjá pé ẹ̀yin ni custodian àṣà àti òrìṣà wa o. You are the closest link between the government and the people. In times past, Obas were not just cultural figures. They were economic organizers, protectors of their communities, and enforcers of justice. It is time to reclaim that role. Before the arrival of the colonial rule, and my leader referred to that, your forefathers governed their towns and villages effectively. They provided the weak and the needy. They provided for the weak and the needy. They ensured security and went to war against the aggressors, cared for the elderly, built roads and markets, tried and punished criminals, established system of checks and balances to prevent tyranny. If modern government, as inherited from the colonial masters, is failing or has already failed, should you stand idly by, waiting for the collapse to consume you? That is, tí bá a ṣe wà lẹ́nìí, tí nǹkan ò dáa, tẹ́bi ń pa àwọn èèyàn tí wọn ò ríṣẹ́ ṣe, ẹ̀yin dẹ̀ ni bàbá wa, ẹ̀yin ni ọba wa, ṣé ẹ máa jókòó lórí ọwọ́ yín, ẹ máa wò wá kí dààmú wá bá gbogbo ìlú, tí tóbi jẹ́ pé ó lè wá kàn sí gbogbo wa. Practical steps for traditional rulers. Your Majesties, I want to seize the point to propose practical steps that you can take to prevent despair from turning into rebellion. Economic empowerment initiatives. You have to begin to think of how to establish community cooperatives that provide small loans to traders, artisans, and farmers. You have your children who live abroad, they come home at Christmas, at Easter, at Eid. They come home to bury their parents. There are those who live in Lagos, Kaduna, and Kano. Speak to them. Let them contribute. Set up trustees in your palace to provide some little funds for people to go and trade. If people benefit from such microcredits, God forbid, any one of them who refuse to pay when it's time to pay, you know how to cost people like that. They dare not even do it because they fear you as much as they love you. Create local apprenticeship program to train young people in practical skills such as farming, carpentry, tailoring, and digital services. Encourage wealthy individuals in your communities to invest in small businesses and support local enterprises. Food security and agricultural revival. mobilize youth into agribusiness, cooperatives with access to land, farming tools and training, partner with state and private organizations to provide subsidized seeds, fertilizers and modern farming techniques, support community-driven food banks to assist the most vulnerable. Then on job creation, through local industries, revive traditional industries such as adire textile production, blacksmithing, bead making with modern marketing strategies. Growing up, my grandmother used to send me to a goldsmith in our town to go and collect her gold. Either she's trying to make new ones from old ones, or he's trying to wash them. All our elites today, where they go to Dubai to go and do all of these things. We have neglected all of those things, that used to give employment to young people in the past. Establish cultural tourism initiatives to attract visitors and create jobs around heritage sites and festivals. There is also a lot of money to be made for the growth of society from all of these things. Advocate for companies to set up small-scale processing factories in local areas to boost unemployment. Since I left Senate, you will not believe how I fared. I failed to do deals because I always ask myself, if I join the stealing team, what will Kabiyesi, the Rogo of Ila, say about me? Will I be able to prostrate for him when I see him? So I had to go into something that is dignified. What I did was to go back to Ekiti and acquire the land to plant plantain. When plantain matures, I harvest, I peel, I dry, I grind, I pack, and I ship them abroad. Elubo, Baba Elubo, Yeah. You cannot imagine how much is made out of that. The package, 1 kilogram that I sell for 2,000, 2,500 naira here is about $20 in America. It's about $20 in Canada. It's about 15 pounds in London. Yes. If you convert that, you know what that means. All of this we have to encourage. We have to get down from our high horse and do things and provide for what people need. Gari, elubo, issue, everything. They are in high demand all over the world now. Because we have multitudes of our people who are living in those places and they want to eat food from home. Dry fish, egusi, all of that are in high demand. You can encourage your people back home to do some of these things and make money. Security and community vigilance. We have to strengthen local vigilante networks in collaboration with law enforcement to curb insecurity. There is no Kabiyesi and the chief who do not know the thief in town, the thug in town, the rapist in town. You all know them. You know their hideouts. If you are going to wait for the Nigerian police to do this for you, you will wait forever. You have to, you have your hunters. You have the local security. Strengthen them. Make it formal. Nobody is going to challenge you. Those who will have challenged you are looking at something else. They don't.
Àwọn Ọlọ́run lò tí a fi ní àwùjọ àwọn ọba tí a ní nígbà tí Kábíyèsí Ọọ̀ni àná sọ pé àwọn fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ tí wọ́n lè bá wa ṣe. God will continue to bless you, sir. Ìgbà tí Kábíyèsí Ìjẹ̀ṣà Ìlá or Ìlá Ìjẹ̀ṣà, okay, tí wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ nípa bí ẹgbẹ́ ìṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀, ó clear a lot of things in my mind. Pẹ̀lú gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ tí wọ́n ti sọ lé, because I was asking, èwo tún ní network of rural obas and things like that.
Ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo fẹ́ sọ tó fi máa fún ọba láyè láti ṣe àṣeyọrí nílùú tó wà. Nípa bẹ̀rẹ̀ nípa àwọn ọ̀dọ́. àwọn láyé àsìkò yìí nísìnyí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nínú wọn ò fẹ́ ṣiṣẹ́, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wọn gbogbo nǹkan tí wọ́n bá wọn sọ ìmọ̀ràn tó ń fún wọn torí ìlú òsè dá sí adẹ̀ní láti mo fẹ́ kẹ́ bá wa tanná sí ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn torí ọwọ́ ọ̀tún lẹ́ máa fún àwọn aráàlú káforílé, ọwọ́ òsì lẹ́ máa bá wọn. báyẹn ṣé àwa ọba ṣé kò ti sọ ìlú yẹn lẹ́nu, ṣé kò sọ ọba yẹn lẹ́nu bí the security officer of that community tí nǹkan bá dẹ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀ nílùú ọba náà máa pè. ìtakò ní constitution ọ̀nà wo ni ìlànà tàbí òfin Nigeria constitution ní alìgbègbè tí ìlànà tó gúnmọ́ yóò fi wà fún àwọn ọba. Àkọ́kọ́
ẹ̀rí ìfanimọ̀ fi yin ọba ṣùgbọ́n ó sì ní àná pé dọ́là ti take over di but mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run wípé ó ti gbọ́ mi sí nígbà mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run wípé ìgbà tí wọ́n fẹ́ yàn mí ìfanimọ̀ lò everything went well but unfortunately religion ó tún jẹ́ àwọn kan tó dàbí pé ó ń da selection àrò. Nílùú mi personally I can say emphatically that religion ó kọ́ sí rancor because everything the procedure is okay, everything is okay. Ìyẹn tó bá wá pọ̀ wípé irú nǹkan bá ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ó máa ń dàbí wípé ó máa ń fa nítorí ẹ̀ lágbára jù tá a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ religion ó burú ju pé àbí wọ́n ń jà nínú ilé ọba lọ.